It's Luxury Fred here in the 2018 Corvette Grand Sport Carbon 65 edition. Okay, so Luxury Fred, and sadly, it's my final moments with the Corvette, the 2018 Corvette Grand Sport Carbon 65. And this part, wanted to give you my review, talk about what I think of this car, and my impressions after driving it for a couple weeks and a couple thousand miles, or 1,000 miles or so. I think it's an awesome car. You've got incredible build quality and workmanship and materials on this car, especially being the Carbon 65 edition with kind of the most luxurious interior that you can get on a Corvette. Competition sports seats, leather interior, carbon fiber everywhere, leather trim everywhere. Excuse me, I'm going to put on my sunglasses. So it really is a luxurious experience. You've got a top here with a quilted and stitched with the blue stitching that matches the other blue that they use for this trim. Because this is the Carbon 65 package, we have the Carbon 65 on the door sill there. As I was mentioning, this has kind of optional leather everywhere you can possibly have leather. So we have leather on the doors, and then you'll see that this car's kind of theme color is blue, so we have blue stitching everywhere. These great competition sports seats that are firm but yet comfortable. We have adjustable bolsters and things like that, and then these actually have this is the airbag here in like this separate package, and then they we can move it forward. You can see the seat has a hard back there, so real serious performance seats. As I mentioned before, we've got the carbon fiber trim everywhere. Let's get inside here. Okay, so the carbon fiber trim all over the dashboard here, and carbon fiber on the steering wheel as well. Formula One inspired flat bottom steering wheel. Looking at the controls, the door, you push this button to open the door. There is also an emergency manual door opener. You have your window controls, seat memory here, your heads-up display, info, and controls up here. You have your trunk release here, down there. Your start-stop button is over there. This car, as I said, has the 7-speed transmission with active rev matching, which you do with the paddles here on the steering wheel. Standard GM infotainment system with full connectivity for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and things like that. With one of those packages that I talked about, you get the upgraded stereo, so this has very good stereo. The one thing is that this, the buttons, the typeface and all that stuff is very typical GM, so if you put someone in this car, immediately you know it's a Corvette, it's a GM car. for better or worse. As I said before, the Carbon 65s are limited to 650 produced around the world. This, as you can see, is number 193 out of 650. Here you have your traction control off, which is dangerous, and then you have your mode select there, and you can see the sport at the bottom. And then if we turn it, that's a touring mode. That's kind of the overall mode that gives you the best performance, but it's still comfortable ride and things like that. Eco mode is for the best gas mileage, and the car is still powerful. If you punch it, it still goes. It's just if you don't punch it, it only uses 4 cylinders. And then a W mode, which is for wet weather, which I'll show you a little bit of what it's like to drive the car in the rain.
Have a safe drive.
Thank you. Okay. So, rainy day. Let's see what this car is like in the rain. Let's go. Okay, so this is the experience of driving a Corvette on the freeway in the rain. Feels pretty steady. This has summer-only tires without a lot of tread, so again, I got it in the W weather mode and just kind of going carefully around 60 miles an hour. And then the final setting is a track setting that turns most of the safety driver aid technology off and gives you a pure experience. So we have a nice big back area. Let me show you this first. So the target top comes off with these 2 levers. You pull the levers open like a standard convertible top, and then there's a third lever back there, and then the top just lifts off, which I will show you. And then let me show you the rear, because the one thing that I like about this car is you actually have a decent amount of space back here. So as you can see, we have kind of a hatchback, and then there's a nice amount of room for luggage or golf clubs or anything like that. Even full luggage, you know, you could fit 2 full-size pieces in there for a long trip or something like that. And I'll tell you, I've driven a lot of these other kind of 2-seat sports cars, and there really isn't any luggage capacity or space in there, especially for multiple bags. Sometimes you can get a day bag in there or something like that. I just had the Jaguar F-Type R, and you could barely fit like a carry-on bag or 2 carry-on bags in the back. So this actually has some good space if you want to take it on a road trip or something like that. And as I was saying, the target top mounts in there securely when you take it off. Okay. So obviously no back seat in the Corvette, but you do have, again, a decent amount of room back there. Okay. So I think that concludes the interior tour. You've got a center console that is not very deep here because you have the transmission tunnel, you have some cup holders here, and then you have an old school power outlet over there. There is also a glove box over there. Okay. And then the passenger seat is also one of these cool competition sports seats. Okay, so taking a look at the outside of the Corvette, as I talked about before, we've got the Carbon 65 graphics. Then you've got the carbon fiber front spoiler, which is extremely low. These are the special custom wheels for the Carbon 65 edition with the blue Brembo brake calipers. You have the Grand Sport badging here. You have the carbon fiber side sills or ground effects down there. You have the carbon fiber. This is a quarter panel air intake here. Carbon fiber roof. And since I'm talking about the roof, why don't I show you how easy it is to take it on and off. The roof is a target top. Actually, on all the Grand Sports, it's removable. So let me show you how easy it is. We have two levers on the front part, kind of like a standard convertible top. I showed you those inside the car already. And then we have a single lever in the back that unhooks. And just like that, the top lifts away. Open the back, lift it up, and then it goes in and mounts really easily on these two clips up there, and then clips in like that. Shut the hatch. We have these enormous rear tires here. Carbon fiber spoiler on the back. Just want you to get an idea of how big those tires are. So a very nice, kind of classic but modern Corvette profile. Okay, and a quick look at the engine. Chevy's 6.2 liter V8. Normally aspirated. This car is $100,000 with all the options. And I think it's well worth that money. It competes with cars, you know, from Ferrari or Aston Martin or Lamborghini or whoever you want to say that are twice as much, if not more. The one thing that I would say is if you are thinking of investing in one of these, they are only making 650 of the Carbon 65 edition. Half are this Grand Sport and the other half are Z06s, and I do think that you need the Z06 engine in this car. This has, I'm gonna tell you the specifics, this has about 480 horsepower. The Z06 has 640 horsepower, and that's what makes that more of a supercar than this. I think this competes with Ferrari and Aston Martin and some of those other vehicles nicely, other than the power that it has, and it needs that more powerful engine. Okay, so the one thing I did want to talk a little bit about was the horsepower. As I was saying, the Z06 has 640. This has 467 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. Now, as a comparison, a Lexus GSF has 470 horsepower and 389 pound-feet of torque. So a little less torque, but just about the same amount of horsepower. Now, I won't say I raced a Lexus GSF, but I drove briskly next to one the other day, and that car kept up. And when you have a car like this with blue brake calipers and carbon fiber all around, a Lexus GSF shouldn't keep up with it. So that's what leads me back to say, if you're gonna spend the money, if you're gonna spend 100 grand, spend 120 grand. I know it's crazy to say that. Spend 120 grand and get the Z06. Get that extra 200 horsepower in the engine. You will appreciate it. So other than that, really enjoyed the build quality, the tightness of this car, the responsiveness. It really is like driving a race car on the street, from the super wide tires with barely any tread on them because they're summer only. It really is an incredible experience. As I've said before, the thing that I love about the Corvette, especially with this 7-speed manual, is it is a physical joy and physical experience to drive the car, because you are using both feet and you are shifting and steering and shifting and clutching and braking and all that kind of stuff. So you're using both hands and both feet, and it's a very kind of old school interactive experience, and I love it. And it's, as I'm not sure what parts of the video I'm going to show, but as I've said before, I barely listen to the radio in this car because it's just so great to listen to the engine and shift and just focus on driving. You don't use your phone, you don't do anything except drive. And then with the power of this car and the ease it is to get out of control with it, it's even more of a reason to just focus on driving, which is, I love it. It's an amazing experience. Now, there are all kinds of safety things. I've got the traction control on, and even in the sports setting, it really won't do donuts and burnouts because the traction control works. Now you can turn that off and you can do donuts and burnouts. Here's one some other guy did in the Grand Sport. So you can see you can turn off all that stuff and, you know, really be aggressive with the car. As I said before, the car has different kind of driver settings. You've got a wet mode, you've got an eco mode, you've got a touring mode, a sport mode, and then the track mode. Obviously, the track mode is the kind of most severe, which really turns down the traction control and other things. Has magnetic ride control that really is responsive to that, and just gives you an incredible drive regardless of what setting it's in. So I want to talk about some of the details. I need to cheat for this. Again, this is the 2018 Corvette Grand Sport Coupe with the Carbon 65 package. So the Grand Sport package includes the Grand Sport performance suspension, magnetic ride control, slotted brake rotors, electronic differential with limited slip, special wheels, summer only run flat tires, multi-mode exhaust performance gear ratios. And then again, we have the engine, 6.2 liter V8 with direct injection and variable valve timing. It does have cylinder deactivation, so when you have it in the economy mode, it turns off half the cylinders and drives as a 4-cylinder. And in this car, you're able to get about 25 miles per gallon with careful driving in the economy mode. So then you have all the regular features that the Corvette has. And then, as I said before, this is the Carbon 65 edition. 65 refers to it being the 65th anniversary of Corvette. That adds the carbon flash badge package, exposed carbon fiber weave hood insert, visible carbon fiber ground effects package, black painted machine grooved aluminum wheels, visible carbon fiber rear spoiler, carbon edition sill plates, blue painted brake calipers, visible carbon fiber roof panel with body color, carbon 65 fender and door graphics, carbon flash painted outside mirrors. And then this car also has the Z07 Ultimate Performance Package, and that adds Brembo brakes, PS Cup summer only tires, and the special Z07 suspension. And to go back a little bit, this car and the Carbon 65 package is only available with the 3LT Preferred Equipment Group, which is the highest trim level on the Corvette. That gets you power seat bolsters, power mirrors, dimming mirror, Napa leather inserts in the car, custom leather wrapped door panels, heated seats, and the premium sound system, heads-up display, Sirius radio, curved view cameras in the front, things like that. So this car, the standard vehicle is $65,495. The 3LT preferred equipment group is $9,745. The Carbon 65 edition is $15,000, and the Z07 Ultimate Performance Package is $7,995, which brings the total to this car, as I said before, to $99,230. Something else very interesting, although this Corvette is of course assembled at the famous Corvette factory in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and you can actually go there and watch your car being made. The engine is made in the US. Interestingly, the 7-speed manual transmission is made in Mexico. GM is global. So now you've had a look at the car inside and out. You've heard my opinion. You've seen me driving it in all kinds of conditions, through the mountain, on private desert roads where there's no speed limit, all kinds of cases. And as I said, really impressed and very happy to have had the opportunity to drive such an incredible car. So if you like the video, please click like under the video. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought about it. Tell me the other cars that you want to see me review. And of course, please subscribe to my channel for all kinds of great luxury travel and luxury car and food and wine and all kinds of stuff that I encounter on my adventures. So again, Luxury Fred 2018 Corvette Grand Sport Carbon 65 edition. Thank you very much for watching.